Mm. Quiet on set. Quiet on set, Mickey. Oh, hello, YouTube and internet. This is Eliza again, day 3. So, I was thinking last night, right before I went to bed, that I did say that maybe I would read excerpts from the book I'm writing about myself, of course. Um, and, like, right before I fell asleep, I said to myself, Liza, yes, I call myself Liza. I said, Liza, you're not doing this half-assed. You are going to do this all the way. You're putting your face, your name, your voice, your story out there. So why not put the story out there? So here is, I'm probably going to read like the first maybe 4 pages of the book. Please be gentle. It is very rough. It has never been edited. It has just been written. I have gotten comments from an editor, though, who did like it, but that was a while ago. Anyways, so I just finished my workout with the Simone De La Rue Body by Simone app. I haven't done one in ages, and it felt really good. Exercising is really good for anyone, especially people with mental illness. It helps you get active and being active actually, because it boosts the endorphins, you get a little fizz of like joy and happiness to your brain. So that, for me, I'm going to carry that all day, which is great, and I'm really excited. And I think I noticed yesterday I was kind of in a grouchy mood at work, and I was like, I need something today that's just going to boost my morale a little bit. And it's sunny out, so I'm already a little bit happier than I was. So I said, you know what, I got the time, let me exercise. So I got my lavender lemon candle from Yankee Candle going, and I did the workout. As usual, Simone, she kicked my ass. But I'm feeling good, so it's good. And I had to modify a lot, but that's okay. Going along, it's healthy and it's safe for my body. When I know I have to modify things, it makes me feel good because it makes me see that I'm being gentle with my body and I'm taking care of it. So, yeah, it makes me feel really good. All right, so I'm going to start the reading. Like I said, it's rough, uncut, unedited. Please be gentle with your comments. So as you heard, my mom actually just called me, so I had to stop recording so I could take her call because it was an important call. And so now I will start my little reading here of my book. The title, I'm actually not going to put out there just because it's really clever, and I don't want anybody to take it, so I'm not putting it out there yet. Throughout my life, there has always been one thing that I know I've been good at. It's the one constant besides my family that I tend to hold close to my heart. Writing has always been a part of what makes me who I am. From the time I learned how to create complete sentences and spell, it's been the one way I've always chosen to express myself. When I was younger and was going through my issues, I would write down my feelings in a journal or just on a piece of paper and leave it somewhere in the house where I knew someone would find it. It was secretly, at the time, my way of seeking help. But of course, like most preteens, I would berate my mom for reading it. In my head, I would quietly thank her for doing so and coming to my rescue. This piece of work is dedicated to the art of writing and my family. I wouldn't be where I am right now without either, and both have always stuck by my side when I truly needed them most. Thank you. I never want people to feel sorry for me because of what I've been through in life. Every moment that has led up to this point right now has only made me stronger and surer of the person that I want to be. It's not a sob story, but one of victory and the journey to self-empowerment. It's about how I found myself along the way with the help of my family and friends, DBT therapy, and my DBT therapist. My one hope for my story is that it makes you want to laugh, cry, get angry, or it just makes you feel something. Feelings aren't the easiest things to deal with, and if I can help one person actually feel anything, then my work here is done. So for better or worse, here we go. Hello there. My name is Eliza Rauschberger, and I am on the cusp of turning 26. Literally, I turn 26 tomorrow. I've always been the type of person to look back every year on my birthday and see what I've accomplished over the years. But this year, I don't feel as successful as I did the years before. Yes, it's true, I'm currently in college, and yes, I did pass my New York State pharmacy technician exam. But I've also been the type of person who always wanted to give back to the next generation. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not minimizing those challenges. I just wanted to do something to change the world. And writing and getting published has always been a secret dream I've had. In all honesty, I probably could never change the whole world, but maybe just the part that surrounds me. Over the years, I thought about becoming a motivational speaker. You know, the person who goes around a public school sharing their story and nuggets of wisdom. And though I've always wanted to do it, I guess I never felt like my story was worthy enough to actually change someone's life or perspective. I am the only person who truly knows what I went through on my journey, and sharing its entirety with other people is the scariest and bravest thing I could ever do. When I think about being a speaker, I always ask myself, would I actually be able to do it? Recount my tales time after time without getting drawn back to that world? Or is it worth it to sit down and tell my story just to change someone else? Or will anybody really relate to me or my story at all and have the thought to change their own behavior? To my surprise, the answer to all of those questions has been a resounding yes. Where does my story begin? Unlike all those cheesy teen chick flicks from the past 20 years, my story actually began in middle school. Yep, 6th grade, at the ripe old age of 11. If you don't like my humor now, you won't like this story. My humor has become somewhat of a coping mechanism when rehashing some things from the past. And where does my story end, you ask? I'm not quite sure since my life is still being written. All I can tell you is where I've been and where I am now. And maybe, if you guys are lucky, where I want to be in the future. Sorry, no juicy spoilers available on that one yet, but I promise to keep you guys posted as it unfolds. Middle school. After watching a fair amount of those chick flicks I mentioned earlier, it became clear to me that high school was the location of one's own personal hell. Boy, was I wrong. Somehow, I became the chosen one who got their personal hell a little bit earlier than everyone else, just like when my boobs grew before all the other girls in my grade. Lucky me. Of course, I had my little group of friends and all that, but even those people can turn against you in a blink of an eye. Yep, you guessed it. My school was filled to the brim with backstabbers, boyfriend stealers, original cyberbullies, and then of course we had the generic cliques such as the popular kids, the punks, skaters, jocks, theater and band geeks, loners, and then me and my friends. I kind of labeled us the losers since we really didn't have any other label. I mean, most of them were taken, and I'm not athletic, so I couldn't be a jock. The punks and skaters, they wore too much black. I'm a very colorful person. Although I am into theater, so I probably could have been a theater geek if I really wanted to. The point I'm trying to make here is that we were a school divided by what you wore, how smart you were, and or the fact if you could kick or throw a ball. Sadly, that's the one thing we always had in common with those chick flicks. Sorry. I know the movie Mean Girls was based on a high school setting, but my middle school pretty much resembled the students from the movie. One club in my school would sell carnations for Valentine's Day every year. It was $1 a flower, and on Valentine's Day, the club members would go around handing them out to the students. kind of like in Mean Girls with the candy canes. In 7th grade, my Regina George found out that I had a crush on her boyfriend and was furious. She sent me carnations throughout the day from him, explaining the fact that he was crushing on me. The last flower had a note that told me he'd meet me at my locker after school to ask me out. But I waited for 15 minutes and he didn't come. Of course, my Regina George showed up with her minions and laughed at me because I thought her boyfriend liked me. Like someone like him could ever like me like that. Yes, I realize I used the word like 4 times in that sentence and am a little ashamed. Don't judge. And then another time, she somehow found out the combination code on my locker and planted a bag of dog poop on the top shelf. I never found out how she knew my combo, but when I asked her about it, she owned up to the fact that she put it there. I tried to play it off, but when I got home to my room, I let the tears fall. Throughout my middle school journey, I only had one rule for myself. Never let them see me cry. I didn't want them to know that what they did cut me so deeply. To be honest, I still have a few metaphorical scars from middle school, but I like to think of them as war wounds. I feel more like a survivor that way than a victim. So then, of course, like every romantic comedy, I had that leading guy. That guy that was, of course, a big man on campus. He was the Zach Seiler to my Lainey Boggs. Even though, in the movie, he didn't turn out to be a complete douche and they ended up together in the end. Yeah, spoiler alert. My Zach Seiler turned out to be a complete jerk. And in the end, of course, I'm better off. At the time, though, I thought it was an earth-shattering, unrequited love story, when in reality, he barely knew my name. He did know my Spanish name, though, since we were desk partners for 3 years, even though I skipped that class for the better half of 2 of those years. That's what you get when the first letter of your last names are the same. I'll never forget the one time he was actually nice to me. Okay, it's about to get a little dark right now, but stay with me. It was in 8th grade, and around the time I was taking my pain out on myself. To be blunt, I was self-harming. I hid it well for a while, but like I said, we were desk partners. We sat next to each other for 3 long years, and I completely underestimated his ability to read body language and facial expressions. For those of you who don't know, that's not an easy task. One day in class, he knew something was up with me and asked me what was wrong. I told him to mind his own business because it wasn't like he actually cared about me. He got angry, even though it was true. And when I tried to turn away, he grabbed my wrist. It hurt a lot because of what I had done, and when I looked up into his very confused eyes, I decided to slowly roll up my sleeves. When his face turned from confused to sympathy with a touch of fear, I quickly told him that my cat scratched me. At first, he didn't want to believe me, and to this day, he probably still doesn't. But lucky for me, he didn't know that I'm allergic to cats. Before class ended that day, he asked me if he or his girlfriend made me feel that bad, and I lied. I wasn't going to let them think they'd pushed me so far down the rabbit hole, or that they affected me in any way. But the look on his face told me he'd never forgive himself. Okay, that's not the whole truth. I wanted him to feel bad and responsible for the way he had treated me. But I know he's never told a soul about what he saw that day, and I'd be lying if I said I wasn't grateful to him in some way. On the other end of things, I tend to wonder time to time what would have happened if he had told a teacher or a counselor about what he saw. Most times, just saying something can save a life, and maybe mine would have turned out different too. So that's the beginning. Hope you guys enjoy it.